You ever walk into a room and feel something off? No one said anything. No one looked at you strangely, but deep down, something in your gut whispered, "They don't like me." Maybe it's a friend who suddenly became too busy. Maybe it's a coworker who smiles just enough to avoid suspicion. Or maybe it's someone in your own family, polite on the surface, but cold underneath. The truth? Dislike doesn't always show up in loud arguments or obvious insults. Sometimes it hides in the quiet moments, in the pauses, in the fake laughs, in the things not said. And if you're not careful, you'll start doubting yourself, thinking you're imagining things, overthinking, being too sensitive. But what if I told you the ancient Stoics knew how to read these signs without ever getting emotionally trapped? They mastered the art of observation, and more importantly, detachment. So today, through the lens of Stoic wisdom, let's uncover 5 subtle signs that someone dislikes you and is hiding it. Before we get into the signs, we need to understand the lens we'll be looking through. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy practiced by thinkers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca, wasn't about suppressing emotions. It was about understanding them and mastering them. The Stoics believed that we suffer not because of what happens to us, but because of how we interpret it. So when someone gives you a fake smile or acts cold behind warm words, a Stoic wouldn't rush to confront them. They wouldn't spiral into paranoia, and they certainly wouldn't beg for affection or approval. They'd observe silently, without judgment. To a Stoic, your peace is your responsibility, not something you hand over to others just because they're acting strange. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." He didn't say that so you could be bitter. He said it so you wouldn't be surprised, so you could face the truth of human nature with clarity and without losing yourself. Because sometimes people will dislike you, and when they do, Stoicism teaches you not to react like a fire set ablaze, but to stand like a rock in the sea. Sign number 1, polite distance. The first sign is polite distance. They're never rude. They don't raise their voice. In fact, they might even greet you with a smile, ask how you've been, nod along when you speak. But something's missing. There's no warmth, no curiosity, no effort to go beyond what's expected. They never initiate plans. They respond, but don't reciprocate. They're nice, but not present. And the tricky part, because they haven't done anything wrong, you feel guilty even suspecting it. You start convincing yourself, they're just busy. They probably didn't see the message. Maybe I'm overthinking. But Stoic wisdom reminds us to trust patterns, not apologies. Epictetus said, "If someone shows you who they are, don't wish they were different. Accept it and act accordingly." A Stoic wouldn't chase this kind of person. They wouldn't beg for clarity or confrontation. They'd recognize the emotional gap and choose not to fill it with false hope. Because polite distance isn't kindness. It's emotional self-preservation. And sometimes it's someone's way of quietly cutting ties. The Stoic response? Observe, don't absorb. Sign number 2, subtle undermining. The second sign is more dangerous because it hides behind humor. It's subtle undermining. They make little jokes at your expense. "You're so lucky you got that promotion. I guess it's more about timing than talent, right?" Or, "I wish I had your confidence. I don't know how you say some things with a straight face." They say it's just teasing. They might even laugh. But if you pay attention, their words carry a sharp edge, and the blade always points at your dignity. Stoicism teaches us that people often mock what they secretly envy. And when someone can't bring themselves to celebrate your wins, they might try to diminish them instead. Marcus Aurelius warned, "When others hurt you, it is because they are themselves hurt." A Stoic doesn't take the bait. They don't get defensive. They don't fire back. Instead, they ask themselves, is this true? Does it reflect my character? If not, they let it pass like wind over stone. Because what someone says in passing often reveals what they carry in silence. And those who dislike you rarely insult you directly. They whisper it between the lines. Sign number 3, absence in your highs. presence in your lows. The third sign is subtle, but it's one of the most telling. They're absent when you're thriving, but somehow always appear when things fall apart. You land a new job, they forget to congratulate you. You post something positive, they scroll past in silence. But the moment you fail, the moment you're embarrassed, heartbroken, or struggling, they suddenly check in, not with genuine concern, but with curiosity, almost like they feed on the cracks in your confidence. To the Stoics, this isn't just bad friendship. It's emotional parasitism. Seneca once wrote, "A friend loves you in prosperity and stands by you in adversity, but a flatterer disappears when you're down and returns when you rise, not to lift you, but to weigh you down." People who secretly resent you can't stand your joy because it reminds them of what they lack. But your pain, that makes them feel safe, superior, balanced. A Stoic doesn't beg for loyalty during celebration. They simply observe who claps when they win and who only shows up to study the fall. Because attention during your lows isn't always compassion. Sometimes it's disguised satisfaction. Sign number 4. Mirrored emotions without warmth. The fourth sign is something only the observant will notice. They mirror your emotions, but there's no warmth behind it. They nod when you speak. They smile when you smile. They laugh when everyone else does. But it feels mechanical, like they're going through the motions. Not because they care, but because it's expected. It's like they've memorized the form of connection without the feeling. Stoicism teaches us to pay attention not to what people say, but to what they repeat without meaning. Marcus Aurelius said, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word, lose your self-respect, or hate another." That includes fake connection. To a Stoic, this behavior isn't friendship. It's a social mask. You see, someone who secretly dislikes you won't openly challenge you, but they'll often perform just enough emotional mimicry to avoid suspicion. But their eyes, their tone, the lack of depth in the conversation, that tells you everything. They might ask how your day was, but they don't wait for the answer. They say, "That's amazing," but their voice falls flat. A Stoic learns to detect hollowness, and more importantly, they don't chase after it, because false warmth isn't kindness. It's emotional camouflage, and once you see it, you never unsee it. Sign number 5, selective silence. The fifth sign is one of silence, but not the peaceful kind. It's selective silence. These people are quiet when you need support, but strangely loud when you make a mistake. They ignore your good news, but comment quickly on your missteps. They ghost your achievements, but suddenly find their voice when there's something to criticize. And they always cloak it in concern. "I just think someone needed to tell you. I'm saying this as a friend." But Stoic philosophy teaches us to observe the timing of people's words. Who shows up only when there's blood in the water? Epictetus once warned, "It is not what others say or do that disturbs us. It is our judgment about what they mean." The Stoic doesn't lash out. They don't go hunting for explanations. They watch, and then they choose peace over participation. Because someone who withholds their voice when you rise but finds it when you fall has already revealed their heart. Their silence isn't random, it's intentional. And a Stoic knows it's better to walk alone than to be surrounded by those who only clap when you trip. Now, you might wonder, why wouldn't someone just admit they don't like you? The answer lies in insecurity. See, most people don't actually hate you. They hate how they feel around you. Maybe your confidence threatens their self-image. Maybe your peace reminds them of their own chaos. Maybe your growth exposes their stagnation. And rather than face that discomfort, they put on a mask, one of friendliness, one of neutrality, because open dislike would require courage, and most don't have that. Stoicism teaches us that other people's behavior is never really about us. It's a mirror of their inner condition. Seneca once wrote, "What you think of me is none of my concern. I know what I am." A person might hide their dislike because they fear confrontation, or they want to maintain a social image, or deep down they wish they could like you, but your very existence unsettles them. The Stoic doesn't obsess over these layers. They observe, they accept, and they release the need to fix it, because not every wound you feel needs healing. Some are just reminders not to lean too close. So what do you do when you sense someone dislikes you, but refuses to admit it? Nothing. You don't confront. You don't accuse. You don't over-explain. Instead, you detach, because the Stoic doesn't try to change others. They try to understand them, and then choose how much energy to give. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The people who pretend to like you, but secretly resent you, are not your enemies. They are your teachers. They teach you discernment. They teach you boundaries. They teach you the value of stillness over reaction. A Stoic protects their peace not by building walls, but by becoming so emotionally self-sufficient that someone else's hidden grudge feels like a soft breeze, not a storm. So when the signs are there, step back, observe, guard your energy. You don't need revenge, you don't need validation, you don't even need closure. You just need this simple truth. Not everyone deserves access to your peace, and that's okay. So the next time your instincts whisper that something feels off, don't doubt yourself. Don't force closeness. Just return to what the Stoics always knew. Peace is internal, and not everyone should be invited in. If this video helped you see things more clearly, subscribe for more timeless wisdom. Like the video to support the channel and comment below. Have you ever felt disliked without a single word being said? Let's talk about it quietly, calmly, and with a Stoic heart.